the Trojan War ended in triumph for the Greeks. Brave Ulysses, the king of Ithaca, embarked on his ship with his crew. "We're going home," he announced. At first, the sea was calm and the ship was traveling fast. But the gods got angry at Ulysses and sent a storm. And then, another one. The sails ripped under the force of the raging wind. Huge waves rose mountain high and the oars broke. The wind carried the ship to a deserted island. Ulysses and his men went ashore and decided to explore. It didn't take them long to discover a gigantic cave. Inside, there were rows and rows of shelves filled with cheese. "Someone lives here. Let's grab some cheese and run off." "No need to hurry," said Ulysses, who was curious about the resident of the cave. After a while, the earth started shaking violently. A shadow appeared, as tall as a mountain, and blocked the entrance. In the darkness, it was difficult for Ulysses to make out the face of the strange creature. However, its size made his hair stand on end. "It's a giant." The humongous man, who had just returned with his flock, rolled a big rock in front of the mouth of the cave and closed it. The Greeks were trapped inside. The giant lit the fire which illuminated his face. Ulysses recoiled in horror. The giant had a nose, a mouth, and a large eye right in the middle of his forehead. "It's a Cyclops," mumbled Ulysses. He felt fear tugging at him, but he ignored it because he was the one who had insisted they stayed longer in the cave. Now he had to try his best to save his men. Ulysses gathered up all his courage, slipped out of his hiding place, and approached the giant. His men followed right after. "Who are you, strangers?" asked Cyclops. His thunderous, gruff voice almost made Ulysses' heart jump out of his chest. "We are Greeks. In the name of Zeus, I am begging you to accept us." Ah. I couldn't care less about Zeus or anyone else for that matter." "You can beg all you want," Cyclops replied, and the cave resonated with his booming laughter. All of a sudden, he stretched his arm, grabbed two of the men, and devoured them. Then he lied down and fell asleep. How could they ever escape? There was no way they could remove the rock blocking the mouth of the cave. Ulysses stayed awake all night trying to find a way out of this dangerous situation. In the morning, the Cyclops went out of the cave with his flock and once more rolled the rock behind him to block the entrance. Ulysses then said to his men, "I know what must be done." In the evening, when the Cyclops returned with his flock, he rolled the rock to close the entrance to the cave, as was his habit. Ulysses approached him. "I have a present for you. I offer it in the hope that you may allow us to leave," he said to the giant. "Keep on hopping, not that it will make any difference," replied the Cyclops. Ulysses gave him a flask filled with wine, and the Cyclops drank it in one gulp. He at once felt great joy. "It's delicious. Give me more, little man. And tell me your name." Ulysses served the Cyclops 3 times, and the wine muddled his brain. Then he said to him, "My name is Nobody." "Nob. Nobody. What a funny name." And the Cyclops lied down and fell asleep. His snoring sounded like the roar of an erupting volcano. "Now," cried Ulysses. He grabbed a log from the fire and with the help of his men stuck it into Cyclops' single eye, blinding him. The giant screamed thunderously in pain and started fumbling around him. Ulysses and his men ran and hid immediately. All of a sudden, there was a commotion outside. A crowd of Cyclopses had gathered outside the cave. "What happened to you?" they started asking him. "He blinded me." "Who?" "Nobody." "If nobody blinded you, then we can't help you." "You have to wait until it passes," replied the Cyclopses, and returned to their caves. Ulysses and his men felt a huge relief, but they were not out of the woods yet. The rock remained where it was. When day broke, the Cyclops was still enraged. "I will devour each and every one of you," he yelled hysterically. He stretched his long arms to find Ulysses and his men, but his hands only banged on the cells and scattered the cheese all over the place. The sheep got frightened and ran frantically here and there. Then he went and stood next to the mouth of the cave and moved the rock ever so slightly, barely leaving enough space for his sheep to pass one by one. "Come along, my beauties, go and graze some fresh grass," he said, while thinking, "Those stupid Greeks will run towards the exit and then I will catch them." As the sheep were trying to file through the entrance, the Cyclops started feeling their backs. When he was certain he only touched wool, he let them go. However, Ulysses realized it was a trap right away. "To leave this cave, we must disguise as sheep." "Sheep? But how?" Ulysses lied down, grabbed a huge sheep and held tightly on his underside. Then he turned to his men and whispered, like this: "Hurry up. There aren't many sheep left inside the cave." Ulysses' men followed his lead. He would be the last one out since, first, he had to make sure that everyone got out safe and sound. The first sheep carrying a man on its underside approached the exit. The Cyclops petted the animal's back and, after feeling the wool under his fingers, said, "Run along, my little one, join the rest." This is how all the men managed to escape. Finally, it was Ulysses' turn, since he and his sheep were the only ones left in the cave. The ram was the wildest of them all, but the hero was very strong and tenacious. He grabbed its underside and waited for it to lead him to the exit. The Cyclops made the animal stop. "My beautiful ram, you usually are the first one out. How come it took you so long this time?" Ulysses felt the giant's huge fingers touch the back of the ram. Yet the Cyclops' hand slid towards the animal's underside. "Don't be sad," said the Cyclops dolefully. "You are a good sheep." After petting it one last time, he finally let the ram go. The ram rushed outside carrying the hidden Ulysses. "Quick, to the ship!" Ulysses shouted to his men as soon as they got away from the cave. They all ran towards the shore, climbed on the ship and started jumping up and down and cheering. Ulysses stopped them and made them start rowing because they weren't yet out of harm's way. This is how they managed to save themselves. But home was still a long way away. Nevertheless, cunning Ulysses was on their side, and that made them feel they could face any and all adversities.